Happy New Year and welcome to my first FRAG-MENTAL video of 2019. I thought I'd put together a wish list, stroke, birthday list of fragrances I'd like to pick up this coming year. Stay tuned to FM. I hope everyone's recovered from the New Year festivities. I don't know if I have because I'm filming this video before New Year. It's still 2018, but I needed to get a couple of videos filmed in advance. I wanted to keep this video nice and relaxed, nice and informal, so I'm just having a cup of coffee. It's the morning here. I've just been to the gym, so I'm just relaxing with a drink. So you do the same. Please sit back, relax, and pause this video, go and grab a drink, and enjoy yourself, hopefully. So what I've done, I've handily saved in a draft email a wish list stroke birthday list of fragrances I'd really like to add to my collection in 2019. In reality, there are far too many, and they're pretty much all niche. Most of them are niche, so it definitely won't happen. But it's a wish list, and if anyone asks me what I might like for my birthday, then I've handily got it saved as a draft email that I can just fire out there. So let's get into the list. Now, the first fragrance I'd love to pick up a bottle of, and I probably won't pay full retail for this, but if I see a good price in a Facebook group for a partial, I really love to add Creed Viking to my collection. Now, I own two bottles of Creed. So I've got Creed Aventus, Bois de Portugal. I love both of these. I love a lot of the Creeds, actually. I've tried most from Creed, not all, but I have some samples, I have some decants, and I really enjoy a lot of them. The next one I would like to add is Viking. I've really got to enjoy Viking a lot this year. I started off with a perfume parlour cologne, which was excellent, and I also gave one last Christmas to my dad, and I was smelling Viking off him. It's really interesting to smell a fragrance off another person rather than just off yourself. You really get a good sense of what it's like to be somebody in the presence of someone wearing a scent, so you can appreciate their sillage and scent bubble in a way that you can't when you're wearing it yourself. And I was smelling Viking off my dad, and I was walking behind him because the sillage trail was just beautiful. So it's a lovely, fresh, herbal, there's a little bit of mint in there as well. Really elegant, beautiful scent. Kind of got a classic feel to it, classic gentleman feel to it, but a really nice modern composition at the same time. So I'm really enjoying Viking, and I think I would probably wear Viking more so than Aventus. I've worn Aventus a lot, and it's maybe because I'm so used to it now, and there's so much talk of Aventus, there's so many clones of Aventus. I'm actually enjoying some of the other Creeds, so Bois de Portugal really enjoying wearing, and I'd love to add a bottle of Viking to keep those two company on my shelf. Next one, I have two from Parfums de Marly. So the only bottle, I have various decants from Parfums de Marly, but the only full bottle that I've had is Carlisle. I mean, I'd probably say this is my favourite from the house, so I'm so pleased to have this one as my first bottle. Kind of a mix between the apple vibe you get from Ojan and the tobacco and incense vibe you get from Herod. I would really love to pick up Herod, and the other one I really adore. I think it's so versatile, I think it's so refined and elegant, beautiful niche fragrance, and it's Layton exclusif. That was in one of my lists. I think it was my winter niche list for this year. I'd love to own all of them from Parfums de Marly, but we have to make these things happen in small steps. We can't have them all at once. So Layton exclusive and Herod I would really love to pick up, and I think Herod, I saw a great deal on Herod earlier this year. I can't remember which site it was on, but it was £100 for 75 ml, I think. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. That price is now gone. It's more expensive, but I'm sure it'll come back round again, so I'll be looking out for that one. A couple of others I'd like to pick up. I love the Tom Ford Private Blend. I have a few on the shelf behind me here. I got to say, it's one of my favourite houses. I know it's a lot of people think of it as a designer house and maybe not such an adventurous house. But I really love the Private Blend. I think it's one of my favourite lines. One of my favourite scents from the Private Blend, which I don't yet own. I have clones and decants of this one, but I'd love a bottle of Tuscan Leather. I know that it's renowned for not necessarily being the most crowd pleasing of fragrances, but I don't care about that. I just love wearing it so much that the scent of Tuscan Leather off my skin over the course of a day is just beautiful. So I've been looking in Facebook groups for partial bottles of Tuscan Leather for over 12 months now, and there is nothing. And that says something about this scent. It's very popular, and once someone has it in their collection, they're not going to be letting go of it very easily. So I'll be looking out for Tuscan Leather. I'll have to make do with the clones I have for the time being, of which I have several, and they're great. You know, they do the job, but I would just like that Private Blend bottle to add to my others. The other one that I'd love to pick up from Private Blend is Noir De Noir. Again, I have a small sample and I have clones. It's a beautiful chocolate rose scent. It reminds me of Turkish Delight, and I just think it's a really sensual, elegant scent. Again, one of my favourites from the Private Blend. Often you don't see that one as partials in Facebook groups either. Now and then it crops up, a little more so than Tuscan Leather, but again, you don't see it often because it is a very popular one. There are loads more that I love from the Private Blend, but these are probably the next two from that line that I'd look at picking up. The next one I'd really love to add is by Kilian's Back to Black. Now, I love the house of by Kilian. There are some fantastic fragrances. I love Black Phantom, I love Single Malt, Apple Brandy. There's so many lovely compositions from by Kilian. I think probably my favourite at the moment is Back to Black. I again have had samples and clones, so I know that I really love the scent, and I've obviously tried the real scent on skin, and it works really well. Beautiful honey tobacco, one of my favourite tobacco scents. The clone I've been using is from Perfume Parlour, which is fantastic. I've tested that directly against the original, and you know, there's hardly any difference as far as I can tell. So in terms of appreciating that scent and enjoying to wear it, then that one is satisfying my needs. But I'm getting to the point now that I'm building up a collection, and I'm really enjoying looking at the bottles. And when I feel that now I've got to this point, I kind of want those original bottles on my shelf. I'm happy to wear the clones, and I will wear the clones a lot, but it's not quite fulfilling that need by not having those original bottles on my shelf. So Back to Black is a beautiful scent. If you've never tried it, I would highly recommend the Perfume Parlour version. I'm sure there are other clones that are equally as good. The only one I've tried is the Perfume Parlour, and it's fantastic. So if you want to get a good idea of what Back to Black is like, try the Perfume Parlour, and it's near enough to exact to the original. Another one, again, which I have clones and I've gone through decants of, is Naxos. Another of my favourite tobacco scents. You all know I love tobacco, especially sweet tobaccos. Naxos is another honey and tobacco. There's some fresh citruses in the opening. It's just an exquisite scent. It's a beast mode scent. Spray Naxos on and it's going to be lasting all day and pretty much projecting for all that time. To have a fragrance that projects for the entire life that you're wearing it is it doesn't happen with many fragrances in my experience. So Naxos is definitely one I'd love to pick up. I have the Alexandria version, I have the Dua version. Both are, as far as I can tell, almost exact to the original Naxos. I've tested them side by side. So again, if the original Xerjoff Naxos was a little bit too expensive for you to pick up and you were thinking about Naxos, then either of these clones would be definitely worth looking into. And just on the subject, I've mentioned clones a little bit. Now, I know there is divisive opinion on clones, but my standpoint is that Perfume Parlour got me into niche fragrances. They were my gateway into niche. So if I hadn't have had the opportunity to smell a lot of niche fragrances, at a very low cost, then I would never have got into this journey, and I probably wouldn't be doing this channel right now. Now, having said that, what usually happens with me is I use the colognes as samples, as testers really. So I usually buy the smallest 13mm spray from Perfume Parlour, and because most of them are so close, I think you're probably talking, from the ones I have, between 85% and you know, near enough to 100% in closeness to the originals. It's a great way to try out a scent and really have a good wear. So 13mm will give you loads and loads of wearings. I've not even, I think there's maybe 2 of my Perfume Parlour bottles that I've run through the whole of the bottle, but most I don't need to use much of it to realise that it's a scent that I either really like or a scent that I'm not bothered. So I have made purchases, whether they're partials or full retail purchases, based on using clones to determine whether I like the scent. So it's just a great way of getting to know a scent profile, and then if you're one of these people like me that would like to add a bottle of the original to your collection, then it's not a blind buy. You know you like it, so it's a bit of a safer bet. The next one I've recently just been wearing over the last 2 days, so I really do need to explore this one further, but I think it's an instant love for me, and it's Guerlain Vetiver Eau de Toilette. Now, this was sent to me by one of my subscribers, and I can easily call good friend now. I have met him in person. He's my Portuguese brother, Xerjoff. Thank you. I met up with Sergio in Lisbon this summer, and we did a little bit of sniffing together. He showed me around the city, so endlessly grateful for that. Sergio was good enough to send me a few samples of some of his favourites from his collection, and I know he's a big Vetiver fan. I know he loves Creed's original Vetiver, but he's also said that he loves the Guerlain as well. And you know, I've got to admit, Vetiver isn't a note that I get excited about. If I see that there's a Vetiver fragrance, it's not one that I will instantly be drawn towards. But the more I smell different Vetiver scents, and the more I learn about fragrances, then the more I realise there are lots of different types of Vetiver, and it isn't just this green soapiness. That you can have a really rich, resinous Vetiver. And what I get from the Guerlain Vetiver, so I quite like Mugler cologne. Mugler cologne is a great, fresh out of the shower, soapy scent, particularly for the summer. But it doesn't really excite me that much. I enjoy it, but it doesn't excite me. And I put on Guerlain's Vetiver, and it's sweeter, it's richer, it's more resinous. I think there's even some tobacco there in the base, and it's just a beautiful scent. And I'll tell you what, on the 2 or 3 times I've worn it, I've had beast performance from this, and it's an eau de toilette. So not only is the scent absolutely beautiful, I get a fantastic performance. Let me know if you own Guerlain's Vetiver, and let me know how you think it compares to other Vetivers, and also let me know what the performance is that you get, because I've been really surprised with this one. I'm going to get a bottle, and the reason I can be so sure about this is the price. I found 100ml, I think it was on allbeauty.com for £35. Fantastic value. It's such an exquisite scent, so I'm pretty certain that it won't be long before I add Guerlain's Vetiver to my collection. The next one, now I hadn't heard anything about this brand or this fragrance. A channel I've really been enjoying this year is Joe and Dan, who present Wafts from the Loft from a beautiful church in the centre of London. I love their channel because it's very much geared towards niche, and often I'll discover things that they have in their collection that I wouldn't have discovered. So their channel is fantastic for getting an idea of scents that are out there that maybe you're not aware of. Now, one of them they've talked about a lot is from Print Parfums, and it's called Turkish Leather. Now, Dan, who owns this, he absolutely raves about it. He's mentioned it in several videos, and I think he's got a great nose. Some of the things he has in his collection are pretty exquisite. So Turkish Leather is something that I'll look to pick up. It's not that cheap, so it would be a blind buy for me unless I can manage to find somewhere that will do me a sample of that. but I don't think it's a fragrance that there will be any clones of. If there are clones, or if you know where I can pick up a sample of Turkish Leather, then give me a shout on that. That's one I'm definitely interested in. Now, another one that was hyped up by another YouTuber, originally by Amitsu from Simply Put Scents. I hadn't seen that video, but it was Nigel from the channel 2 Cents Worth who really hyped this fragrance. It was his Christmas Day fragrance, and again, he was good enough to send me a sample. It's called Masaai Mara from the house of Berdoues, a house I've never heard of, a fragrance I've never heard of, and this fragrance is absolutely beautiful. It's dried fruits, it's resinous, I even get maybe a bit of tobacco in there. It's a scent that is right up my street. It's a slightly darker scent, but I get great performance. It works really well off me, and lovely, almost gourmandish notes. And another great thing about this fragrance is you can pick up 100 ml for just £70. So for such a great scent, for such a beautiful scent profile, £70 is fantastic value. So again, that is one I will definitely be picking up in 2019. Thank you, Nigel, for introducing me to this scent and for sending me the sample. The next one, this has been on my list again ever since I smelled the Perfume Parlour copy. I've since tried and own No Apologies from Alexandria Fragrances, which gets me loads of compliments. I recently wore this one for my Christmas party, and all night people were asking me what it was. They were saying I smelled great, because we were sat in close proximity around the table, and then we were all on a dance floor, so dancing close to people, having photos taken, and you know, people were getting quite close to me and mentioning this fragrance. So it's Nasomatto's Pardon. I have Black Afghano, Boronda, and Duro. Just had to check on the shelf up there, and I would really love to add Pardon to my collection. I love the Nasomatto bottles, and to have those four, I think, as my favourites from the house lined up on my shelf would be great. So Pardon is beautiful scent, one that I will hopefully grab this year. Now, there are a couple of houses, there are a few houses that I need to explore more. Two that just came to mind when I was putting together this birthday list is Xerjoff. So I recently popped into Xerjoff Mayfair in London, and they were good enough to make me up a few samples. And I've got to admit, I didn't really know much about the brand, and I went into their shop not necessarily thinking that I would smell their own fragrances. I went in there to try other fragrances, and I asked for a couple of samples of some scents that weren't Xerjoff. And without asking, they just did me a nice selection of their own fragrances, and I've been working my way through them, and I've got to say, I'm really impressed. Gorgeous niche quality. A couple that spring to mind are Pavilion Rouge, Psychedelique, Remember Me, beautiful fragrances. So Xerjoff is a house that I'm really excited to explore more, because the samples that I've tried have really impressed me. And the other house that I really know very little about, but it's a very popular niche brand. I've smelled a few of them in store, and from what I've smelled, I've been very impressed with them. And the only one that I've tried extensively is Cedrat Boisé. So the house is Mansera, and as I said, I've tried a few in store, really enjoyed them. So I think I'll probably try and maybe pick up some kind of sample set or discovery set. I'm not sure if Mansera do them. Maybe I can go to a sample website and grab a few, maybe try 10 from the house, because I think it's a great house, it's a popular house, and I'd love to have an opinion. So if I can try several of their fragrances, then that would be good for me to be able to have an opinion on that house, choose which ones were my favourite, and then maybe pick up a Mansera bottle as well. Now, I've left this one till the end, because there's a little funny story attached to this one. The scent I'm talking about is a stunning scent that I'd love to pick up a bottle. It's Andy Towers' L'air de Desert Marocain. I had been enjoying this scent. Chris Giorgio from the Mr. Ciage YouTube channel months and months ago sent me a decant of this one, very kindly. He was very generous like that. He sent me several decants, and this was one of them, and I fell in love with it It's an amazingly complex, elegant, very, very interesting fragrance. Gets a lot of love in the community. Most people have smelled it or know of it. So I was enjoying this this decant, and it was maybe half full because I had been wearing it quite a bit, and it was probably I'd say maybe an 8ml. I think it was an 8ml decant, the one that I had. So it was half full. And just this morning, I was downstairs. I'd been making breakfast for my kids, and I was getting this amazing scent wafting down the stairs and filling the whole of the downstairs of the house. And I heard my two girls coming downstairs, and the smell was getting stronger and stronger. And it suddenly dawned on me, I was smelling Laird de Desert Marocain, and I wasn't just getting wisps. This was hitting me in the face. There was a lot of Laird de Desert Marocain. It felt like the whole Moroccan desert was coming down my stairs and filling my house. And the girls came down with smiles on their faces and explained to me that they'd been spraying some of Daddy's fragrance. And I said, oh, was it the one in the little pink sprayer bottle? And I think the shiny pink bottle had attracted them. So anyway, take a look at this little video. Have you by any chance sprayed a fragrance on this morning?
Yeah. Yes.
What have you sprayed?
Laird de Desert Marocain.
And did you spray much?
We don't know.
More than one spray?
Maybe.
Like, finished the bottle?
No.
Okay, well, I think the entire house is smelling like a Moroccan desert at the moment, so you've cleaned me out. So, my decant of Laird de Desert Marocain is drained. Nothing left. Not even a drop. They'd emptied the whole thing on their t-shirts. They don't spray on skin, they just spray it on their t-shirts. And they were drenched. They were almost wet and dripping with Laird de Desert Marocain. I mean, they smelled amazing, and I've got to give them credit for their choice of the scent of the day. They chose wisely. But now I have none. So this is why I need to grab a bottle of Laird de Desert Marocain. So I'll be looking around. Maybe there'll be some sales in the new year. If not, I think it's about £100. Maybe for, I can't remember if it's 30ml or 50ml, or perhaps I'll see a partial in a Facebook group. But again, it's one of those fragrances that once people have got, they don't really want to let go of unless they really need to, so it doesn't crop up very often, but I'll be keeping an eye out. And if you know of any partials, if anyone is selling one out there, please let me know, because this is one I really need to have up here on the shelf. So I think that just about does it. I'm going to wrap up the video here. I've been rambling on now for ages. It's quite strange just talking to the lens of a camera. Although once I get going, I feel like I'm actually talking to a person, I guess. Now I've been doing this for quite a while. So talking to an inanimate object is not so strange anymore. You should try it. It's quite invigorating. So I'm going to end the video. Let me know what you think about these choices. I'm sure there's loads that I'd love to pick up that I haven't mentioned, but I didn't want my birthday list to be too long. You know, had to be realistic. Let me know what you think of my choices. Let me know of any fragrances that you're looking to pick up in 2019. Let's have a conversation, and I'm sure you will leave some comments that will lead me to add even more fragrances to my list. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a nice relaxed drink and chilled out. Happy 2019. Let's make sure it's a good one. I'm looking forward to the content I'm going to be producing and that others will be producing, and the inevitable influx of new reviewers that I'm sure will come into play in 2019. So I'm really excited. So let's start 2019 with positivity. Let's all try and be better than we were last year, and let's really make a good go of it and enjoy ourselves. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good.